Can you imagine watching an 80-ton excavator being lifted vertically into the air? Or a 50,000-ton oil platform walking across land like it had legs? Today on TechZNX, you're about to witness 7 operations so extreme, dangerous, and technically impossible that it's hard to believe they actually happened. But they did. And the craziest part? Every single one of these missions was carried out with real machinery, in extreme environments, and with surgical precision. No CGI, no simulations, just pure engineering pushed to the edge. So get ready, because what you're about to see will blow your mind. Let's go. Number 1. The excavator hanging from a dam. At first glance, you'd think it was fake, but no, this actually happened. An excavator weighing over 20 tons climbing up the vertical face of a concrete dam in China, like it was scaling a wall. The scene took place at the Jinping Dam, one of the tallest in the world, standing over 200 meters high. Engineers needed to clean and reinforce hard-to-reach areas, and they did it using, yes, a regular excavator specially modified to climb. The process was a millimetric choreography. First, a massive crane hoisted the excavator and positioned it against the dam wall. Then, using steel anchors and tensioned cables, the machine began to move, suspending itself and using its own arm to push forward along the vertical surface. Each move was a calculated risk. The excavator latched itself with hooks as it climbed, relying entirely on the tension of the cables controlled from above. The operator inside had to maneuver with surgical precision, knowing one mistake meant a 100-meter fall. Over several days, the machine cleaned debris, reinforced cracks, and repaired channels damaged by rain and time. It looked surreal, a machine built for soft earth now turned into a steel climber hanging from a concrete cliff. This kind of maneuver requires heavily modified equipment and next-level safety logistics, sensors, automatic brakes, redundant anchor points, and constant monitoring from a control center. And all this in an environment where strong winds and even small vibrations could tip the balance. It wasn't a test. It was a real maintenance job at one of China's most strategic hydroelectric sites. A real excavator doing real work while hanging in the air. This is heavy engineering at its finest. Number 2. The Arctic Train Beast. If you thought military convoys only used tanks and trucks, meet the Le Tourneau TC-497, a monster so colossal it looks like it came from a sci-fi movie, but it's 100% real. This beast was built by the US Army during the Cold War for a near-suicidal mission, to cross the Arctic while hauling tons of military cargo. No roads, no fuel supply, no external help. Picture this. A land train over 200 meters long made of a dozen connected modules, all powered by a diesel-electric generator installed in the front unit. Each module had wheels almost 3 meters tall, capable of rolling over deep snow, cracked ice, dunes, whatever stood in its way. But its most extreme feat? The day it crossed a frozen section of the Arctic with no reliable maps, minus 50-degree weather, and ice so unstable that a single crack could have killed everyone on board. It pulled more than 150 tons of cargo across over 1,000 kilometers, powering itself like a mobile city. Every single turn had to be millimeter perfect. One wrong move, and the whole thing would freeze in place forever. Yet, it made it, proving that you don't need roads to conquer Earth's deadliest terrain. Just insane engineering, tires the size of humans, and the guts to face the Arctic with no safety net. This rolling fortress was the US military's boldest attempt to create a self-moving highway. The project was scrapped later, but the feat lives on as one of the most extreme operations ever completed. Number 3. The mega machine that lifted itself. Think a 14,000-ton machine can't move on its own? Think again. The Bagger 293 is officially the largest excavator on Earth, a German Titan measuring over 140 meters long and almost 100 meters tall, bigger than the Statue of Liberty. But what's crazier than its size is what happened during a mining operation in Germany. Suddenly, the ground beneath it began to collapse. The wheels started hanging mid-air, the entire machine slowly sinking into a crater. any normal vehicle would have been destroyed, but not this beast. The maneuver? Activate its hydraulic self-stabilization system, redistribute all 14,000 tons of weight using instant calculations, and perform a progressive lift using its own structure. That's right, it lifted itself. While a team monitored pressure sensors, stabilization data, and structural stress in real time, the bagger slowly pulled itself out. No external cranes, no disassembly, just sheer self-reliant power. It backed out of the sinkhole without major damage. It's so absurd, so impressive, that some still think the footage was CGI. But no, it happened. A 14,000-ton machine lifted itself out of a pit and went back to work the next day like nothing happened. Number 4. The nuclear reactor that flew. When a Ukrainian nuclear plant needed to replace its damaged reactor core, weighing over 150 tons, the only option was to fly it over 1,000 kilometers. Yes, fly it. The Antonov 124, one of the largest cargo planes on Earth, was specially modified for this mission. This wasn't just about lifting power, it was about absolute precision. The reactor core was sealed inside a triple-layer containment unit made of lead, steel, and composite armor over 20 centimeters thick. Inside the aircraft, reinforced shock absorbers, radiation sensors, and thermal monitors were installed. But still, one mistake, one bad gust, one loose bolt, and this flying tin can could have become a floating disaster. For 3.5 hours, a nuclear team monitored every single vibration. And upon landing, a synchronized dance of cranes and hazmat teams unloaded the core with surgical timing. This kind of nuclear airlift is almost unheard of. Only 3 have been documented in history, and this one was the heaviest, riskiest, and most intense of all. According to the pilots, it felt like carrying a live volcano inside a soda can at 12,000 meters high. Number 5. The buried locomotive that came back. In northern Argentina, in Salta province, a 120-ton locomotive was swallowed by mud after a railway bridge collapsed in a storm. It sank 4 meters deep, buried under metal, water, and debris. Rescuing it the traditional way? Impossible. Enter one of the most extreme rescue operations ever recorded in Latin America. Engineers brought in 4 industrial cranes, each able to lift over 100 tons, but the terrain was unstable and the water was still flowing. They had to get creative. Steel platforms were installed on temporary pillars, divers welded hooks to the sunken train, and sensors monitored every ounce of tension in real time. Every crane had to lift within seconds of the others. If one pulled too hard or too slow, the locomotive would snap in half. But after 43 minutes, the steel beast emerged from the mud like it was reborn. It was so precise, so insane, that it's now studied in engineering universities worldwide. Number 6. The oil platform that walked. Moving a structure bigger than a stadium? Not by sea, by land. That's what Daewoo Heavy Industries did in South Korea when they had to transport a 50,000-ton oil platform across 3 kilometers of uneven terrain. The structure couldn't sail and dismantling it was out of the question. So, what did they do? They gave it legs. Over 200 self-propelled modular transporters, robotic platforms with multi-directional wheels, lifted the entire structure and moved it inch by inch. For 3 days, operators monitored every wheel using 3D laser systems, pressure sensors, and real-time telemetry. If even one module failed, the whole platform could have collapsed. And yet, it moved like a giant steel insect. When it reached the dock, thousands of workers cheered. They had just pulled off one of the greatest logistical operations in history, a building that walked. Number 7. Lifting a 1,000-ton tunnel borer underground. During the construction of London's Crossrail, it's one of Europe's most ambitious subway projects, a tunnel boring machine weighing over 1,000 tons, nicknamed Elizabeth, became stuck 20 meters underground. A guidance system failure had sent it into solid rock. The only way out? Lift and reposition the entire machine inside the tunnel without taking it apart. Over 100 engineers built a modular steel platform with hydraulic foundations. Then they installed synchronized jacks controlled by computer to raise the machine more than 2 meters, shift it laterally, and reset its path. Every millimeter was tracked with lasers. One miscalculation and the tunnel could collapse. After 3 weeks, Elizabeth was back on track, boring through London like nothing had happened. One of the most delicate underground maneuvers in modern history, and hardly anyone knows it even happened. And there you have it, 7 operations so insane they feel like Hollywood scenes. But every single one was real. From hanging excavators to walking oil platforms, these feats challenged gravity, logic, and conventional engineering. Now tell us, which one shocked you the most? Would you dare lead a mission like that? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this video amazed you, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to TechZNX, your gateway to the most extreme machines, transports, and engineering feats on the planet. See you in the next video.